Welcome back, my friends. When Jewish group Zionists of America called out Black Lives Matter as a racist, anti-Semitic organization, Union of Reform Judaism leader Rick Jacobs and leaders of other left-wing groups smeared ZOA and worked to remove them from umbrella groups in an effort to protect BLM. Now, Zionists of America President Morton Klein is demanding an apology from these left-wing groups for the pain and humiliation that they've caused. Here to expand on the details is founder and president of PragerU, Dennis Prager himself. Great to see you as always, sir. You know, BLM's anti-Semitism and racism, as you've said, is well documented. Shocks me to hear how some Jewish organizations are protecting Jew haters out of a devotion to left-wing politics. How do you see this?
Unfortunately, I don't see it as shocking. Let's put it that way. Look, I have been involved in Jewish life all my life. I've written, co-authored the most widely read English introduction to Judaism. I've written a book on anti-Semitism, which has been in print for 35 years, and it's in its third edition. I founded a synagogue. I founded a Jewish day school. I'm pretty involved in Jewish life. I have Bible commentary out. So the sad fact is that, like mainstream Protestantism and Catholicism, non-Orthodox Judaism, and I'm not speaking as an Orthodox Jew, I'm just telling you the truth, non-Orthodox Judaism has veered so left as to be indistinguishable from the ACLU, for example. I can't think of an ACLU position that mainstream reform, conservative, reconstructionist, Anti-Defamation League or other groups do not hold. It is part of the tragedy that everything the left touches, it ruins. And that's true for religion as it is for music and art and elementary schools and universities. The destructive nature of leftism in Jewish life is a very sad fact. And that is why they attack Mort Klein and the ZOA, the Zionist Organization of America, for telling the truth. If Jewish groups think that Black Lives Matter, that group, is an ally of the Jewish people, then there is no hope for mainstream Jewish life.
Well, I'm right there. We Catholics are also having battling the cancerous left in our faith as well. Let's not forget that Black Lives Matter is not only racist, but they're also Marxists. Their website vowed to dismantle the nuclear family structure until the page was scrubbed in fall of 2020. BLM is also violent and lawless when they rioted in the allegedly Republican city of Fort Worth, Texas. Even though they were caught on videotape violating the law, the police there dropped all charges. How can we defeat a racist, anti-Semitic, and violent group when both political parties are trying to protect them?
So the answer is information. When people get to hear the truth, it can have a very sobering impact. That is why the left censors us as much as possible. This has always been true. There's never an example in modern history, and I studied the left since I was at Columbia University at the Russian Institute of the School of International Affairs. A lifetime of study. I cannot think of an example of the left being in power anywhere where it has allowed dissent. If the left knows that if people hear another side, it is the end of the left. What a cross is to Dracula, the truth is to the left. And that is the reason that censorship is so important to the left, and freedom of speech is the enemy of leftism. So the answer to your question is, let this information out. The more information people have, whatever group they're in. I'll give you an example. Ami Horowitz just did a video for Prager University in which he interviewed just random gay folks in Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco. Are they pro-Palestinian or pro-Israel? Everyone said pro-Palestinian. So then he went to the Palestinian territories and interviewed some leading Palestinian spokesmen plus a major imam, religious leader, on their views on homosexuals, which were essentially that they should not just be suppressed, but perhaps even executed. So he brought this back to the gays that he met in San Francisco. And every single one, this is on a video. Any one of your viewers can watch this. Every single one of those gays that was anti-Israel changed their minds after seeing the Ami Horowitz video. Information and truth are our allies. That's why they need to suppress us.
Yes, which is why the major networks and social media work so very hard to keep a differing perspective out of there. And that's why assets like PragerU are so important. Dennis Prager, thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Hey, guys, it's Rob Carson. With inflation at its highest level in 40 years and interest rates skyrocketing, your retirement plans are in danger. Well, our friends at American Hartford Gold can help show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Yeah. If you call them right now, they have a special offer. They will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order. So don't wait. Call now. Here's the number. 866-935-4309. That's 866-935-4309 or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532. Thank you.